And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second half of the broadcast, the second half of the OSC Season 12 Championship at lower bracket round number 4. We just wrapped up with 2 of our mirror matchups, and we have non-stop mirror matchups here moving forward. It's a lot of mirror matchups, which I'm all for. Again, they're a little bit more of a rarity nowadays, so definitely a little bit more refreshing. Definitely more than happy to jump into them. And here we go. Up first, or up next, we have our TvT, our one and only of the night, Cure versus Spirit. Let's go. As we are jumping into game 1, it's going to be on Whispers of Gold. And so far, we've had a lot of aggression in both of our ZVZs and PvPs. We've seen a lot of aggression, a lot of all-ins, a lot of proxies. We have yet to embrace a proper back-and-forth macro game here tonight. Does it all begin here and now, or does it not? Because likewise, this mirror matchup can also be very chaotic and very aggressive. Let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the Polish Terran player, the Red Terran. It is Spirit. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player from South Korea representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. Here we go. So again, our TvT is upon us, and when it comes to openers, we'll keep an eye on our gases here. We'll see if we open up double gas. We'll see if we do end up sending an SCV across the map as well. Proxies are not uncommon here in TvT, especially when we get into the Korean Terran players. Cure, he is more than happy, more than willing to go proxy Reaper from time to time, proxy 2-Rax Reaper even, willing to mix it in. But it looks like here for game 1, we're calming things down. Double gas out of Spirit, double gas out of Cure, going for faster factories, going for delayed CCs, which makes plenty of sense on Whispers of Gold. As a reminder, Whispers of Gold is a small map, is an aggressive map, is a rush map. So because that both players are playing relatively safe, neither one is taking a risk, neither one is taking a chance to go for a faster CC. Not yet. So we are keeping up with each other. SCV Scout moves out for Cure. SCV Scouts are very rare in TvT, I will say that. Spirit, he skips his own, which is standard. The Cure going for his is a little bit more unusual. So interesting getting into the mind of Cure a little bit here, as he is maybe a little bit more concerned, maybe less practice against Spirit, is a little bit more wary as to what he has to offer. Does confirm the double gas. Does confirm the factory, confirms the later CC, will pull away. I mean, Spirit does have a reputation upon being overly greedy in certain matchups, that is true, but that's not the case here. At least not in game 1. On larger maps, I would expect greed. You know, maps like Abyssal Reef, Neon Violet Square, even King's Cove. That's where I would expect that. Less so on smaller maps. Now though, we are moving out. Likewise, Cure, he does shoot first. Yeah, he does have the high ground. KDA charge to do more damage to Cure though. So far he rotates, keeps up. Does keep up, forces Spirit back. Oh my god. As we have our little skirmish, a little back and forth. Behind this, we have our Hellions on the way. Into Reactor, into add-ons. Ooh, and we have Reactor Reaper Hellion at a Cure. Okay, Cure, so he's going to be building up. He's going to be a little bit more aggressive here. Meanwhile, Spirit across the map, no add-on whatsoever. He is going to be behind when it comes to the overall Reaper count. Now, typically the goal for Cure should be to overwhelm the army of his opponent and to get economic damage. This is not designed to end the game, but is designed to give you a lead by killing and sniping some workers at the natural, ideally. And of course, gaining map control. We'll see if Cure can pull this off. For now, Spirit, he has yet to confirm. Dips in. He gets the first volley up. Another Reaper has arrived. Now he knows. Now he does know. First Reaper does fall already for Spirit. He has to get the hell out of here. Did do a lot of damage on the Hellion at least. And there's the high ground. And he will up. Barely target down the Hellion. Does target him down. And with that high ground advantage here, we do trade back and forth. Cure, he will take this. But just barely. Just barely with a 1 Hellion advantage. And with 1 Hellion, he can't really achieve too much. Like, Spirit, he traded well enough. Despite being down in Reapers, does trade well. Hellion hits the mineral line. Shouldn't get many SCV kills, though. Yeah, as a reinforcing Hellion has arrived. And Cure up! Oh, gets 1. Gets 2. Gets 3. No, Jesus. Takes down 2 SCVs. And Spirit holds. Spirit does hold. Did bleed out a couple of workers. That means that Cure does take a slight economic advantage. A 2-worker lead, actually. So, again, Cure, he does take an advantage here. Behind this, it went for a Cyclone follow-up into a Medevac into drop play. As Cure is going for drop play, we have Spirit back at home, getting to his own Raven production instead, being more defensive. As he does miss the Medevac. The armies, they pass by each other. And Spirit back at home, he doesn't really have much to work with here. He needs a couple more seconds for his own Cyclone. It's a couple more seconds here. Needs a little bit more time. Auto turret is thrown down. Cure going to be forced back. Yeah, and he's going to be forced to pick up as well. Doesn't lose too much. Pulls away. And now we can settle in towards a longer game state. We're getting to our own tank production, Raven production as well. Both players are building up. Well, Spirit, he will take down the Cyclone, though. Nicely done. Better trade for Spirit. Shuts down the Cyclone. Forces Cure back. Cure lifting into the main. Heads for the mineral line. And let's see what he can get done. Oh. Oh my god. Yeah, barely gets a Cyclone. Nice control. Some nice control there out of Cure. He does make up for his earlier loss. Rallying across the map. Denies the third TC. Spirit getting on location. Greedy move there from Spirit. It gets punished for it. Cure doing the same though. Getting his own third on location, but he will get away with it. He has map control. Still moving out. Still being hyper aggressive. Gets an SCV in the main. Just doesn't stop. Gets one. Gets two. Gets up. Up to 3 SCV kills. Barely boosts out of the main base, saves the Cyclone, and he's containing Spirit with the bare minimum amount of units. It's barely containing. And from here, Spirit, he is behind. He's down in workers, he's down when it comes to his third base timing as well. Now, these advantages, they're not the biggest of deals in TvT. As you can imagine, TvT is very positional based, so you can be down in supply, you can be down a tank, down in Marines, down a Cyclone, but you can make up for that with better positioning and earlier tank volleys as well. Meanwhile, lock on the Medevac. That's going to be a one-way trip. Medevac is going to be targeted down. Yeah, Cure here overextends. Spirit holds. Spirit does hold. Both armies are amassing. Again, the Cure, he has the slight advantage, the slight lead, but not insurmountable. So Cure is moving out now with auto harass. A lot of this does come down to air control. That's why we see both players going into Viking production. That who controls the skies does control the ground as well. As we go for more SCV kills. Cure getting further ahead, catching more SCVs, chasing them down. Now this is a double-edged sword. He's getting SCV kills, but the Ravens, get the hell out of here. Vikings, they're zoned away. The Ravens, they split up. They try to escape. One Raven gets caught. And the other is trapped. And this is not worth it. This is not worth it for Cure. He gets 8 SCV kills, but potentially will lose every single Raven, or at least 2 of them. And that means that Spirit has a massive Raven advantage here. Despite being down on tanks, despite being down 1 tank, he can make up for that with disables. He can actually disable a Matrix every single tank. So I'm not so certain that was worth it for Cure. Now, Cure, he's relying quite heavily on these Vikings. True. Like, if he can zone these Ravens away, then, again, the Matrixes, their potential doesn't matter. Does move in. Vikings, they respond. Disables 2. It takes down 2, throws down the turrets as well. And the tanks are getting within range. Marines, though, they start to step in. The tanks are exposed. And with that, the Vikings do fall, and it looks like Cure, he will clean this up. Yeah, there's no support here. I mean, the Vikings, they can just land. Now within range of the gas. Cure, he pulls away, leading out SCVs. Liberator will distract the Vikings. Not bad. 9, 10, 11 SCV kills. Another Liberator here into natural as well. And Spirit, he escapes with the tanks. Not bad. Does get away. Does pull out. Very nice damage dealt here by Spirit. Despite that, though, we do have a counterattack across the map, and he has no faith. He has no faith here. Likewise, I mean, there was a massive army lead. GG, though. GG, well played. I'll be honest, I feel like Spirit could have pulled off a counter-offensive or a counter-defense, but regardless, GG does tap out. I don't say this too often. I will say that felt a little bit premature. Again, Spirit, he was up in workers and he had time to build up a defense if we saw a counterattack. Likewise, Cure, remember, he lost a bunch of his Ravens in the lead up to that, so yeah, GG. GG, well played. I don't think, despite losing all of his bio, I feel like he could have still been able to survive if Cure had gone for a counterattack then and there. Regardless, GG. GG, well played. You could argue that maybe the Viking lead would be too much to overcome. That is something that Cure did have, true. He was heavily ahead in the Viking count. But yeah, regardless, GG. GG, well played. Cure does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if he can continue that lead. As spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is Cure. And spawning up in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Polish Terran player, the red Terran, representing himself, currently teamless. It is a Spirit. Ran out of time, Bobby. True. Aye. Like, I understand, like, the disadvantage that he had, which was, again, mainly Vikings. And Vikings, they are very, very impactful in TvT. Because Spirit did lose all of his Vikings in the attack. So, again, he had lost all air control. Despite that, I want to say it was possible, but regardless, GG. GG, well played. Cure here opens up with a proxy. Let's go! Does open up with a proxy Rax. And again, welcome one and all to Romanticide. Romanticide is one of the larger maps in the map pool. If you are newer to StarCraft, you might be a little bit unfamiliar, but Romanticide was in the map pool a couple of years ago, back in 2022, I want to say. So a couple of years ago at this point, this was the macro map at the time. This was the basically the version after Eternal Empire. It was Eternal Empire in the previous map pool, then Romanticide. So a very large map. Despite that, double gas open out to Spirit, going for a faster factory. Ooh, oh my god, he's going into the main. He's crazy. Cure. Oh no, he's unchanged. He's lost his mind. Proxy Marauder in the main base of Spirit. Mate, you're an animal. Oh my god. Cure, he got the memo. He's like, mate, we've been cheesing, we've been proxying every game so far, at least in the previous series. Let's do it again. Let's do it again, Pappy. And how long will it take until Spirit realizes what's going on? Oh, no. For now, is unaware. We have Concussive Shell being researched as we speak. Marauders are building up. And the question becomes, how long will it take for Spirit to realize what's going on? How long will it take? As for the time being, he has control of the ramp. Going for his expansion. Double gas, faster factory into that CC. Hellions are going to be rallying across the map for Cure to reinforce. And so far, he's got one. Getting up to two. Getting up to two Marauders. He checks! Oh my god, he barely speaks. He barely does spot this, barely does confirm. The boys are being pulled instantly. Reapers do react as well. Do react. SV's being targeted. So far, good control. Ooh, we'll lose one Reaper. One Reaper goes down. More boys are going to be falling. The KDA charge does actually help Cure. Takes out another Reaper. And here comes that Hellion. As it is rallying across the map, Marauder is going to fall. Another Marauder has arrived. Oh, but does get surrounded instantly. And with that, Spirit, he holds. He does hold. Hellion delays the CC. But the Marauders didn't get much done. Did they get much more done here? Ooh, getting another SCV. And another. Oh my god, still delaying the expansion. In total here, 5 SCV kills. But this is a big commitment here as another Marauder pops out. Up. Gets a Marine. Barely gets a Marine. Shouldn't get much else though. And again, Spirit, he will hold, he will defend, he will get his natural up and running. And despite these delays, Spirit, his natural, it's going to finish up far faster than that of Cure. So Spirit, he still will maintain an economic lead. Yes, Spirit, he's currently down in SCVs, but that faster CC will make up for that. So economically, Spirit is still in a decent position. Cure back at home, get into his own 1-1 setup. Cyclones into potentially add-ons. Do we go for a Banshee? We'll see. As Cure is trading somewhat well with the Cyclone, still taking a lot of damage though. And it's gonna go down. Yeah, the Cyclone falls. Brutal loss there for Cure. Spirit he's holding, and he's soon to recover. Okay. Very chaotic game. Very chaotic. Cure to make up for this, double expanding. Yeah, I mean he's behind, so he has to double expand. He's going for a very fast third CC. Makes sense. Cure is attempting to recover. Oh. As the Cyclone does pull away. I wonder if that ever works. Yeah, we've casted that work before, 100%. I mean, we've seen that stuff work against like Beyond, for example. We've seen Gumiho whip that out. But a lot of that is reliant on hiding it a little bit longer, as the Cyclone is being chased down, and Spirit, he will shut down the initial aggression, cleans up the Cyclone, moving out for a counterattack, and can he break through the defensive line? There's 2 tanks to defend, no other support. Boosting into the main, he avoids the tanks. Oh, does boost in. Unloads a little bit prematurely. Late to siege up. Oof. Bit of miscontrol there from Spirits, as he's going to be zoned back. But he will delay the CC. We'll try to at least. It's too late. Does barely finish. Tank goes down. This is a big loss for Spirit. He throws his tanks away. And just like that, Cure, he's still in this. He's still in this. But winding it back, referring to this proxy that's still alive, by the way, if Cure had built up to 3 or 4 Marauders, that would have been game. You saw just how well Cure is trading. He killed like 2 or 3 Reapers. He was getting SCV kills. Imagine 1 extra Marauder. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that would have been so much more DPS added and would have made the world of difference here. So a lot of it did come down to how early that was seen. And thankfully, Spirit did get eyes on it sooner rather than later. So he does shut it down. But we have seen Terran players kill with that, for sure. At this level of play. It is heavily map reliant though. As you can see here, it relies on a large main base. If the main is smaller, then you can't pull it off. But if it's quite large like this, then it is possible. As Cure is moving out, you can see Cure is moving out with the bare minimum. He has 4 tanks. He has no Marines. He has no bio support. So this is actually quite risky. It's a really risky move out here by Cure, as he is getting to buy behind this. But can he? No, sure. Can he cancel? Can he cancel the CC? He will delay. Yes, that is true. But he's within range. That's a lot of DPS. And can he force a cancel? That's going to be huge. No shot. Oh my god! It goes down so fast, so quick. Spirit, he was out of position, did not see the move out. There's the cancel. And it's really stuck on 2 bases. Meanwhile, the Viking lead here in favor of Cure. Oof. Okay, 2 and 2. They do trade. But Spirit, that's going to be a massive delay on the CC, and Cure is already up and running. He already has his own saturated. This was a risky maneuver out of Cure, but it worked out beautifully here for him. As Spirit, he had no spotter units. He did not see the army moving out. Now he has to counterattack. He needs to. He cannot stay home. As Spirit is falling behind. You can see Kiryabi setting up in the center. He's going to make a stand. Does move forward. Tank behind this. Viking count in favor of Spirits, but the tanks, they're forced back. They're forced all the way back. Let's get the hell out of here. Oof. Yes, the problem is that if he sieges, the tanks will catch up and kill them. That's the problem here. He cannot siege. There we go. Does siege on the high ground. Does siege in time. Does zone away. And Spirit, he will hold the natural. But this is all that Cure wanted. Remember, Cure, all he wanted was to protect the 3rd base. All he wanted was to protect the 3rd base, and he has. The 3rd base is fully saturated. Cure, he deflected the aggression. And now Cure is miles ahead. Like, he has a massive advantage here. I did mention earlier that in TvT you can make up for a deficit when it comes to positional play. That is true, and I stand by that. This is also why I believe that Spirit could have maybe held last game as well, despite being behind in certain aspects. But here, it's so much more. Oh. Just because of the economy, the supplies. Now, Spirit does have the Viking lead, true. He's got 9 Vikings. But Vikings that don't shoot down, and the Marines are going to try to catch him out. Stim is done. Stim is done. Here he rotates, trying to catch out those tanks. We'll take down one. And from here, late to siege. Takes out another. Yeah, down to 3 tanks, down to 1. And Curie breaks through. He breaks through the defensive line here, just catching Spirit out in the open. GG gets called as Spirit gets surrounded. And Cure takes a 2-0 lead. GG. Cure does take a lead again. Very intense game here. It all started with the proxy Marauder. All started with a proxy, which did fail overall, which I will say that Spirit was able to take a lead following that, and the pressure was on Cure. And what did he do? Well, he triple expanded, or I should say, he rushed into a third base, and he moved out with 4 tanks with a couple of Vikings, no Marines whatsoever. He was able to sneak up on the third base and force a cancel, despite the base being so close to finishing. It was like 80 or 90% of the way done. That was a massive loss for Spirit, and from there, Cure took a lead and never let it go. Never did let it go. Here we go. We're getting into game number 3 here. Curie's up 2-0. Needs one more to take it all. Needs one more game. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the Polish Terran player, the red Terran representing himself, currently teamless, but down in the series, the pressure is on the SFI back here and now to make a series out of this. It is Spirit. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Liquid, leading the series 2-0, 1 game away from claiming the best of 5. It is Cure. Here we go. Hello, SCV. What's going on? What's happening, papi? Yeah. Our eyes are on this worker, as we already had one proxy earlier, and we're setting up for another. Okay, this time though, we're not floating into the main. As you can see here, even if we wanted to, the main base is smaller on this map because the gas geyser does provide more vision. We didn't even see Spirit. Yep, just making sure, throwing down his own 2 racks opener. Okay, you have my attention. So 2 racks versus 2 racks. Now we see Cure, he's not really committed here to the proxy. 1 Rax is proxied, 1 Rax is back at home. Spirit, this opener from our red Terran is designed to hard counter proxy 2 Rax. The reason for this is because Spirit, with the defender's advantage, can overwhelm the Reapers of his opponent, can overwhelm, can shut it down, and then can counterattack. And Cure will be overwhelmed. Likewise, with a half proxy or with 1 proxy Rax, I do still give the edge to Spirit. Cure's advantage is supposed to be a Reaper lead. He doesn't have one. Doesn't have a Reaper lead in this kind of situation here, and likewise the production is stifled. Because of this, one of these production buildings is not really going to be a factor when it comes to defense. If Spirit, if he breaks through back at home, if he defends against the Reapers, if he moves out across the map, then Cure is going to be making 1 Reaper at a time. The second Rax is not going to help. So this is a really rough position for Cure, and this was a risk that he took. This works well against an economic opener or even against a double gas opener into faster factory. So he's scouting, he checks, and he doesn't quite check the 3rd location. Checks the center base, checks the triangular 3rd. Doesn't check the linear 3rd. So he doesn't know, not yet. Now Spirit has to be careful. If he gets a Reaper called out, then that could be game. Reapers, they dive into the main, and Spirit, he turns back around. Does turn back around. Cure, he confirms a rack. He confirms second racks. He knows. Oof, better trade here for Cure, but a 3rd Reaper has arrived, and Cure gets surrounded. Yeah, he's gonna get shut down. He loses both Reapers. Massive loss for Cure. 2 Reapers for 0, and Cure's in trouble. Cure, he's in a lot of trouble here. Yep, Spirit, he counterattacks, and as I mentioned, this rack is not a factor defensively. It's not a factor. He's down to 1 Reaper at a time. Hellion's on the way. Cure, he will delay the CC. He will delay, but he doesn't have his own. Spirit is counterattacking. And what is it to defend? Nothing. There's two Reapers. There's two Reapers in the main. And they're going to be targeted down. Ooh, nice control, though. Valkyrie does target down that weakened Reaper. Despite that, he's still being overwhelmed. Spirity saves one Reaper towards the end. Boys are being pulled. Oh, no! Boys are being pulled. And the Reaper is not going to get surrounded. Yeah, we're going to be able to heal up. CC is going to be delayed. And workers are falling left and right. And here come the reinforcements. And Spirit, he overwhelms. He's just overwhelmed with the army. Cure, he gambled with the proxy. And it did not work well for him. Not this time. As he will be losing far too much here. Two SVs lost mine time. The Hellion has arrived. Behind this, ooh, he will delay the CC once again and will attempt to. But the Reapers, they rush past. They focus on the Hellion. And this should be game. Like, mate, this is the this is crazy. More boys are being pulled to try to lock the Reapers in. But they slip away. They do slip away here. Just running circles here around the army, around the workers. GG gets called, and Spirit, he fights back. GG. Spirit, he fights back. He puts a point on the board. Again, almost a hard counter basically here from Spirit, going for a double racks opener. Again, that is designed to hard counter proxy 2 racks, and close enough. You know, proxy 1 racks here. Regardless, proxy out of Cure was shut down, was dealt with. Really good read here from Spirit. I say read. Both players did kind of gamble a little bit, but again, Spirit, he was assuming, he was expecting a proxy out of Cure. Did it well. Yeah. Was able to read him like a book. GG, well played. That leads us into game number 4. Let's go. Leads us into game 4. And we're going to be loading into one of the older maps once again. I did mention previously that we have an extended map pool for OSC Season 12 Championship. Older maps were voted on to be added to the map pool. Maps like Romanticide, which we featured earlier, and maps like this as well, like Gressvan. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gressvan, we have the Polish Terran player, the Red Terran, down in the series, but he does put a point on the board. Can he force the ace match? Can he bring us all the way to game 5? It is Spirit. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the blue Terran player for Team Liquid from South Korea, still one game away from claiming the series and from eliminating Spirit from the tournament. It is Cure. Here we go. And this time, no proxy. This time the Rax is at home for both Cure and for Spirit. We're calming things down. But welcome one all to Gressvan. Gressvan, I believe, was in the map pool after the Romanticide map pool, so this would have been in 2023, I believe. Coming into 2023, we had Gressvan. This was the macro map of that map pool as well. I want to say, was Gressvan in the same map as Day to Sea? I think so. I think they were in the same map pool. It's hard to recall. So all these maps, they blend together. But regardless, Gressvan is or was the macro map of the map pool. A lot of bases to be taken. Very defendable third base as well, with this ramp, with this cliff face. I will say that the natural is a little bit more accessible. As you can see here, you can actually push in from the north side in between both the natural and the third base, and this can be a really big point of contention, especially in this matchup. If either player can try to sneak up on their opponent and siege in between the bases, they can just pull their opponent apart if we're getting to a longer game state, of course. So we'll see how this does turn out. So far, players are settling in. Double gas opener from both players into faster factories. Mirrored build so far. Mirrored builds from Spirit and Cure. We saw this in game 1, if I recall correctly. Cure is going Reactor Reaper. So we saw this in game 1. Reactor Reaper Hellion out of Cure. Meanwhile, no Reactor out of Spirit. Now, this does mean that Cure will have a higher Reaper count, which means he can overwhelm the army of Spirit, and the goal is to get some economic damage with this. We saw that Cure, he failed to do so in game 1. We'll see if he can do so here in game 2. I think he killed 2 SCVs, if I remember correctly. I think, like, the Hellion got into the middle line and killed 2 SCVs and gave Cure, like, a slight advantage. That was on Whispers of Gold, if I recall correctly. Was on Whispers, but now still building up. Both players expanding. And we'll see what Cure can get done, as he should be our aggressor here. As again, he will be up in Reapers. Here we go. Meanwhile, this is, again, a lot more standard when it comes to high-level TvT. No SCV Scout. There's no SCV Scout out of Cure. Likewise, there's no SCV Scout out of Spirit either. So no SCV Scouts whatsoever. We're just setting up back at home. A little bit more blind. No Reaper Scout. If you move out with a Reaper early on, you will lose it, most likely. So Reaper Scouts are avoided in this matchup until this moment. As Cure, he moves out with his army. So there's 4 Reapers and 2 Hellions. A 3rd Hellion not quite on the way. He's got the Arc, he's got the Concave, does move in. Oof. So far, gonna be denied. Marines are coming to reinforce. Spirit pulling on defense. Meanwhile, the Hellion does fall, and he's being overwhelmed here. The Hellion falls, the Marines, everything's gonna crumble here. Yeah, the splash damage was just not good enough here from Spirit, and now SCVs are gonna fall. Massive losses. And just like that, this is getting out of hand. 4 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. The wall is not a wall. Bust into the mineral line. More SCVs going down, and this is brutal damage. Again, this should not have happened. Spirit, he did clump up a little bit too much against the Hellions. Does get the surround, but that's still 8 SCV kills. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but specifically in a mirror matchup, that's huge. As Cure, he takes an 8-worker lead, and the pressure is now on Spirit to recover. As Spirit, he's building up his Cyclones, got his Raven on the way. Cure, he was able to overwhelm, and he's not done. He continues the aggression, now moving out with a Cyclone drop. Making his way towards the main. We have Vikings in production, Cyclones at the natural, not quite in the main base. Spirit, he's not in position, he does respond. He's racing back over. And Cure is going to get more SCVs. Gonna get 1, gonna get 2 more. Trading against the Bio, nice control, he breaks the lock on. Multiple times to get more SCV kills, oh my god. Yeah, the control is brutal here, getting 6 more SCVs. Does escape with the Cyclone, escapes with the Medevac. And this is where we have to look at the supply a little bit here. Again, especially in mirror matchups, it's more impactful here. We have 38 workers compared to 22. Cure has a massive economic lead. He has a 3rd CC on the way. Oh! Does get a lock on. Does lock onto the Medevac, but doesn't quite get it. Medevac does survive. Spirit trying to stabilize here, getting to Viking tank. Spirit, he might be tempted to play mech. Like, mech can be a very efficient composition, and that might have to be the go-to and play more defensive and turtle up. The problem, though, is that Cure, he's being quite greedy behind this. Like, he's going to be taking a much faster 3rd base, and if Spirit foregoes any kind of map control, then Cure, he will just snowball out of control and be the first to max out. Oh. As Cyclone gets caught, trading 1 for 1. I'd say because of Cure's lead, still a better trade for Cure. As Spirit moves out. He does move out. He has to commit. Behind this, reinforcing with Liberators. Interesting. I mean, he does have the Viking lead. True. He's up in Vikings. He's got 6 Vikings compared to the 0 of Cure. And with that air control, how better to use it than with Liberators? Spirit moving in. We'll take a tank shot to the face. Oh, we're going to be 1 tank going down. Brutal loss already. Vikings, they land. They focus on one of the tanks. Another tank falls. Auto save by time, and Spirit is being completely shut down. Oh my, GG gets called. I thought we were gonna wait for the Liberators, Pappy, and with that, Spirit, he will lose everything, and Cure, he will take the series at 3-1. GG. GG, well played. I don't think Spirit was really expecting the tanks to be on the high ground, but after the tank shot went off, he had to commit. He was like, I mean, I'm going to lose this tank anyway. Let's send it, Pappy, send it. Unfortunately, it was an uphill battle in more ways than one, and was a losing battle as well. GG. GG, well played. Regardless, Spirit, he was forced into an all-in there, and a macro game was not quite possible after losing so many SCVs. Congratulations. Congratulations to Cure. Shout out to Spirit for making a series out of it. And it comes down to our final series. We have not had a macro game yet. We have not had 3 base saturation versus 3 base saturation. That has not happened at all in any game of our series so far. We've had 3 best of 5s. We've had a lot of games. They're best of 5s, mate. no macro. Does that change here coming into our final series? Do we want it to change is the question. I'd be okay with an earlier broadcast ending. I'd be fine. We have a lot of casting to do tonight. We have the Wardy TV February group stage that we're going to be covering. We have the OSC King of the Hill. Like, we have a lot of casting to do. It would be nice if we got some extra sleep, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We have one series left. We have one best of 5 remaining here. It is going to be a best of 5 between Skilless and Nightmare. Let's go.